a monster. Something there with the Matrix. Promise y'all he can up his game. This boy is fast, explosive, that's that power, precise, and he got a game on mentality. I give you nothing. I need you to give me nothing. Yeah, go take my shit. So, knock him. Better go another round and all that shit. Come on. Come on.
You got the main event, David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde, so it's gonna be a great night of boxing, bro. The people, the boxing fans, gonna have a great night.
The showdown between David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde is officially set for November 22nd in Riyadh. Both fighters are training hard for the matchup. Anthony can be seen pushing hard in the ring, working on powerful combinations, and staying focused. His sweat and effort show his full dedication to the fight. David is also training intensely, throwing non-stop punches and building his stamina and strength. Every move he makes proves he is ready to give his best in the ring. Before the fight, Anthony Yarde faced off with David Benavidez, and the intensity was clear. Yarde said this moment is very important to him because it stands between him and his goals. He explained that winning this fight would bring him closer to what he has always wanted. Yarde also promised to give his all and not let this opportunity slip away. Both fighters looked focused and determined, knowing that the upcoming bout could shape their careers.
You know, my mindset is it's a massive opportunity. If I beat him, or in my mind, when I beat him, my stock goes up. I can look in the mirror in a different way now. I look in the mirror proud already because I don't back down from no challenge. But it being him, it's got that extra spice to it, that cinnamon. It's got that extra flavor.
On the other hand, David Benavidez described the November 22nd fight like two fierce lions clashing in the ring. He said Anthony Yarde will come out strong, just as Yarde has promised. Benavidez told fans to expect fireworks and non-stop action on fight night. Both fighters will be determined, focused, and ready to give their all. This battle will show their hunger, ambition, and desire to prove themselves on one of the biggest stages in boxing.
At the end of the day, this guy has tremendous power. He has a great boxing ability. He has a great hook. I've checked everything out. I've watched him really good. He does a lot of stuff good. So that makes, I gotta be in there. I gotta be on my P's and Q's. I gotta be 110%. And this is why I'm so motivated for this fight, because this guy is super hungry. I'm super hungry. And this is what we need in the sport of boxing. We need two fighters that just want to go in there and give the fans the best fight possible.
Callum Smith, a former world champion, shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight between David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. He believes it will be a strong and exciting matchup. According to Smith, Yarde will start well and be competitive in the early rounds. However, as the fight goes on, Benavidez's high punch output, strong fitness, and non-stop pressure will take control. Smith expects Benavidez to dominate the later rounds and possibly win the fight.
By David Benavidez, a fighter that you just named there, and Anthony Yarde, 3 weeks time actually in Riyadh. How do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, I think it's a good fight. I think it might be a, I say typical Yarde fight, but like his other two world title fights, I think he'll be competitive early on, and then as the fight goes on, I think Benavidez's punch output, work rate, fitness kind of takes over second half of the fight.
Callum Smith gave a strategic assessment with his own ambitions clearly in mind. He acknowledged Anthony Yarde as a capable and dangerous fighter. He clearly leaned toward David Benavidez, as the Victor Smith pointed to Benavidez's continual improvement and the fact that the 175-pound division seems to be a better fit for him. Smith felt that Benavidez's high-pace, high-volume fighting style presented a particularly difficult challenge for Yarde. While he considered it a good matchup, he was especially interested in the outcome, as he hoped to face the winner himself in a future bout.
Yeah, it's a good fight. Look, I think Yarde's shown he can fight when the chips are down, but I don't know, I do favour Benavidez. I think he's getting better and better as the fight's going on. I think 175 probably suits him a little bit more than 168, and I don't know, I think stylistically the pace he sets and the punch output is probably the wrong style for someone like Yarde, but no, it's a good fight, and again one that I'll pay close attention to, because I'll hopefully fight the winner somewhere down the line.
Ade Oladipo pushed back against the notion of a straightforward fight, arguing this matchup would be far more competitive than many expect. While he still views Benavidez as the favorite, he openly questions whether the champion's legendary power will carry the same force up at 175 pounds. Oladipo predicted that Anthony Yarde would cause significant problems, citing Yarde's own power and his experience in a brutal fight of the year against Lyndon Arthur. He anticipated a dynamic bout with several twists and turns rather than a one-sided victory.
Yarde first. I think that's going to be an interesting fight. I don't know if the power that we saw at 168 has carried itself to 175. Don't get me wrong, I think he's favourite for that fight, but I do think Yarde's going to cause him a few problems. I do. I think a lot of people seem to think this is one-way traffic. I don't know about that. Honestly, I don't know about that. I think there's some twists and turns in that fight. Yarde's a problem. I think we saw it against Beterbiev. I mean, remember, that was fight of the year over here. Yarde can crack, and he's very big himself. He's now experienced.
However, David was asked about the fight, and he said he feels very confident going into it. He knows people think this is Anthony Yarde's last chance, but that does not change his focus. David said he is training harder than ever and feels more motivated than in any past fight. He respects Yarde's power and heart, but he does not feel worried. David says he will go into the ring and prove he is the stronger and smarter fighter.
Knowing that you're in for an entertaining fight, because Yarde, really, it's almost like a last chance for him. Is there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, unfortunately for Yarde, this is going to be the third attempt that he loses, because I'm coming in prepared for this. You know what I mean? This is nothing out of the ordinary for me. If anything, I'm more motivated in this fight than any other fight. You know, I know Anthony Yarde is going to come in prepared. I know he's a hard fighter. I know he's a hard hitter. I know he has a lot of heart. And I know he's ready for this fight, but this is what motivates me more. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna shut Anthony Yarde down.
Moreover, when David was asked how it feels to face someone without past bad blood, he explained that it actually helps him stay calm. He said all the drama with old opponents was real, but it took too much energy from him. This time, he only wants to focus on the fight and do his job the right way. David respects Anthony Yarde, but his plan in the ring does not change. He believes fighters can still be good role models by showing respect before and after the fight.
Is it, I guess, how is it not having that needle with an opponent that you previously have had before?
To be honest with you, that was all of that stuff was true. None of that stuff was fake. But it gives the fight more of a storyline. I feel like with this one, you know, I really just wanted to focus on the job and getting the job done good. And it's giving me, you know, all that energy and all that stuff. It takes a lot of energy out of you, you know, when you have, you know, bad blood like that. So right now, you know, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Anthony Yarde, but nothing has changed. I'm going in there trying to do the same thing, but I'm able to focus more on the fight, you know what I mean? So, and I also feel like us as people, we got to be role models to the kids. You know, we don't always have to get dirty in the fights. We don't always have to talk smack and do all this and that. We can both be gentlemen, still try to go kill each other in the ring, but still show a lot of respect before and after the fight. So,
meanwhile, David Benavidez revealed that his move up to 175 pounds required a major evolution in his style. His entire training camp was dedicated to fundamentals, sharpening his jab, mastering distance, and setting up his power shots with strategy. He believed this smarter, more technical approach would actually create the perfect traps to secure a knockout against Yarde. While he has full confidence in this new game plan, Benavidez made it clear he's fully prepared to abandon it and turn the fight into a brutal war if needed.
people talk about that. Did my power carry up because I haven't stopped these last 2 fighters? But what that happening, you know, I was used to walking guys down at 168, you know, because I was a bigger guy. Coming up to 175 actually made me go back to the drawing board, made me figure out that I had to go back to the basics. Getting the jabs started, getting the distance, you know, setting punches up, using a little bit of the ring. So I went back to this camp, and I definitely feel like this is going to help me open up the doors more for a knockout against Anthony Yarde. Because at the end of the day, you know, you can't just go in there and just brawl. You got to set the knockouts up. And that's how all the greats set up knockouts. You know, they set them up for traps. They make them walk into stuff. So I know, you know, I put together a great game plan. But if that doesn't work, then we can make it a all-out war. You know, I mean, this is what I like to do. So, I mean, I'm very confident, you know, I have a good game plan, and, you know, I'm excited to perform for my fans on Saturday.
In a bold declaration, Anthony Yarde expressed confidence in his ability to win by knockout, citing his powerful boxing skills and one-punch fight-ending power. He believed David Benavidez was aware of this threat that would force the champion to fight with caution rather than his usual aggression. Yarde stated that a clean-landed punch would secure his victory and make him the champion. He held on to this belief with complete certainty, knowing it was a dominant factor in his opponent's mind as well.
Yeah, the fact that I know that I've got the ability to box, I've got the ability to, you know, I've got extreme power, I've got the ability to, you know, make Benavidez think about how he's coming forward, you know, just throwing punches. And I know he knows this, so he's not going to come in all lapsy-daisy. If I land on him clean, the fight is finished and I win, I'm victorious, I'm the new WBC light heavyweight champion of the world, you know, what a story. So I hold into things like that.
That's what I was going to say, like, how much confidence do you think that you can knock out Benavidez?
100% confidence, because it's a possibility he's going to have in his mind. He's going to go out there. He said it to me in my face. I'm going to try and hurt this guy every round.
For Anthony Yarde, his primary goal as a man was to provide for himself and his loved ones while accomplishing meaningful things in life. This personal philosophy is the very reason he fearlessly accepts the toughest fights and new challenges, always asking himself, why not? He credits this positive, opportunity-driven mindset for transforming his life. Because of this outlook, he firmly stated that he had no regrets about his career.
Me as a person, me as a man with my beliefs, I've always wanted to be able to provide, you know, look after myself, look after the people around me, and I'm able to do that, and also not waste my life, you know, accomplish things, and I've done that, and I'm still doing it. And that's why when people say to me, why are you taking these fights? Like, why? I'm like, why not? That's the same thing people said to me, why are you starting to box? Like, why not? And I thought that my mentality changed my life completely. Yeah. Changed my life completely. Because I'm always looking at the possibilities, positive possibilities. Even the way I talk, you know, the way I try to eat, it's all positive. Life is great.
So you have no regret on taking certain fights at the time, because you could have gone down another road, you could have done another route for a world title, so you have no regret in that?
Absolutely no regrets in life.
However, Breadman Edwards, who is a well-known boxing analyst, was asked about the matchup between David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. So he said that Benavidez deserves to be on the pound-for-pound list and called him the best fighter he has ever coached against. Edwards added that while he expects Benavidez to win, he also sees this as a tough fight because Yarde is big, strong, and experienced, having faced top-level fighters like Kovalev and Beterbiev.
He's a really big, strong guy. He has that experience now with like the top-level guys. For Kovalev, for Beterbiev, gave them both really good fights. Is this going to be one of those fights where it's just like, yeah, David Benavidez is in a real fight? Because normally guys that have success against him, like Caleb Plant, Andre, they're like boxers. They're like use their legs and like be like a little elusive. Yarde's not doing that, bro. Yarde is coming right at you. So, how do you see that?
You know, first of all, David Benavidez deserves to be on the pound-for-pound list. David Benavidez is the best fighter I've ever coached against. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
He explained that the punishment Benavidez took in his previous fight against Morrell could carry over, but noted that Benavidez has incredible fighting spirit and endurance. Edwards concluded that Yarde might have some early success, but Benavidez's stamina, skill, and resilience make him a very difficult opponent to overcome.
Fight real good. Morrell took a couple of dirty shots after the bell, but he also hurt David a couple of times with a couple of little right hooks in there. David's face was a little bit distorted a little bit, so he took some tough shots. So I always like to see how a fighter looks after he takes a tough fight like that, because just because you won, that doesn't mean you don't take, that doesn't erase the punishment that you took, you know. And Morrell took a lot of punishment versus David Benavidez, and we've seen the remnants of that, and he got knocked down, and you know what I mean. So sometimes it's not just the fight, it's the accumulation of the fights. That was a hard fight for Benavidez. You know what I mean? Not so much as in terms of who was winning the rounds, because you could see he was winning the rounds.
Moving on, Okoye shared his thoughts about the fight between David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. He said Benavidez has not yet shown the same power he had at lower weights, but that is normal when moving up to a higher division. Okoye thinks Yarde could do well in the fight. He compared Yarde to Pascal, not in style, but as a strong, athletic fighter. Yarde is very muscular and powerful, and Okoye thinks he sometimes rushes forward because of his size and strength.
We've seen at 68 and 75, but that's normal. You coming up in the division with
growing.
Significantly bigger guys. Yeah. What do you think of that fight?
I like the fight for Benavidez. I think Yarde would do well, but Yarde, he reminds me of Pascal, and I don't mean his style. His fighting style is not like Pascal, but he's an athlete that's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's not naturally built like a boxer. He's very heavy and muscular, right?
Moving ahead, the trainer, Okoye, believed the fight would be competitive for the first 6 rounds, but he did not think Anthony Yarde would be able to hurt David Benavidez. Looking at Benavidez's punch resistance, he said he had never even seen the fighter stunned or in real trouble. He felt that even in early exchanges, Benavidez's durability, which he called a good beard, would neutralize Yarde's best shots. Therefore, he concluded that Yarde lacked the power to secure a decisive victory.
I think that, you know, it'll be competitive in the first 6 rounds. I don't think Yarde is going to be able to hurt Benavidez, so I don't think he can change the tide of that fight.
You don't think he'll be able to hurt Benavidez?
I don't think he's going to hurt him, no, because Benavidez right now, when you look at the way Yarde fights, right, early in the game, if him and Benavidez are in exchanges, I look at Benavidez's punch resistance. Like Benavidez, I haven't seen Benavidez hit by anybody where I say like, damn, you know what I mean? It look like he about to be out there. So I look at him as having like a good beard.
From Jay Peterson's point of view, he acknowledged Anthony Yarde's toughness, but saw David Benavidez operate on a different level. He predicted that Benavidez's superior speed and relentless accumulating pressure would quickly overwhelm Yarde. Peterson famously described Benavidez's attack as a starting snowball that rapidly turns into an unstoppable force. Based on this, he forecasted that Benavidez would secure a stoppage victory somewhere within rounds 8 to 10.
Got Benavidez essentially in the same Yarde's not a pushover. He's not a bitch. No. He's coming to fight. I just think that the level difference is going to be
across the board.
Yeah, I think the level difference is across the board. And then the problem is with David Benavidez, avalanche. Once he starts to snowball, it does not continue to snowball. It turns into an avalanche, and it turns into an avalanche fast, and shit can get bad. So I do think Benavidez is going to stop him in about.
Anthony Yarde is training intensely in the ring with his trainer, working on punch combinations with the pads. He executed the drills with heavy, powerful shots. Demonstrating his physical commitment to preparation, sweat poured from his body, providing a clear visual testament to the extreme effort he was exerting. This intense session highlighted his dedication and the grueling work he was putting in ahead of his crucial upcoming fight. On the other side, David Benavidez is looking at an extremely intense pad session as he prepares for Anthony Yarde. He unleashed a non-stop barrage of punches without taking a single break, showcasing his exceptional stamina, power, and focus. His labored breathing and the visible physical strain on his body conveyed the sheer difficulty of the workout. The entire session clearly communicated his complete dedication and the extreme level of conditioning he was achieving for the upcoming bout. David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde have both shown incredible dedication and hard work in the gym. From intense pad sessions to focused training, it is clear that both fighters are ready to leave everything in the ring. Analysts predict a competitive and exciting fight, with strategy, stamina, and skill playing a major role. Fans can expect an action-packed main event that could define the next chapter for both fighters. This is a fight not to be missed. Make sure to mark your calendars for the Benavidez vs. Yarde showdown. Don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts. Who do you think will come out on top in this thrilling matchup? Follow us for all fight updates, behind-the-scenes training clips, and expert predictions.